Good morning and welcome to an exquisite misty morning here in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve in South Africa. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Vim on camera and we're busy trying to see if we can find any sign of Thandi. Now the light's still a little bit bad at the moment, so I'm just trying to check here. I saw a track. It looked like a leopard, but it looked like a leopard running, and there's only one. So I can't really see in this low light, so I'm going to head towards where there's some softer sand to make sure that it is the leopard we're looking for. We've decided we're going to go have a look for Thandi this morning and see if we can find any sign of Tlalamba as well. Now remember, this is 100% live, and you can also ask us questions by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can comment on the whatever feed you are watching on. Now I love these misty mornings, and it means it's going to be hot today though, and this mist will burn off. There's no major cloud in the area, and you can already see it starting to burn off, but it is very beautiful out in the bush on these very misty mornings. Okay, we're coming up towards the soft sand now. Softer is a relative word with all the rain we have had recently. It makes tracking a little bit more challenging. Okay, so we're just going to check the Mawati quickly. While we do that, let's go say good morning to Taylor McCurdy.
Good morning, good morning. It's a very misty day, as you've already seen with Brent, but that doesn't seem to be stopping this Hammerkop, who is enjoying an early morning fishing. Just early morning fishing. And I did hear Brent and Tristan saying something along the lines of that apparently misty morning is good for fishing. We'll take their word on it. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Ferg Clark, and we're on Chitwa. Again, hoping to find and catch up with all the leopards we had yesterday. So let's do that. Seeing as though our Hammerkop is going around the corner. Nice to see him. Nice to see him back at the pan. It's interesting how that Hammerkop has chosen to fish there versus at, the big dam that's known as Chitwa Dam. Maybe there's too much competition for it. Sometimes that is the case. You're quite right. I haven't seen them catching too many fish there. I wonder if there aren't more frogs and things living around there, maybe little baby terrapins. So, like I said, we're going to be following up on leopards, trying to find them, but as Brain said also, he's covered all the topics today, it's not great for tracking. So let's hope if there are any cats around that they're going to be out and in the open, easy, for us to spot. Tristan will be on walk at some point too. He will be the gorilla in the mist this morning, so it'll be quite funny to get some screenshots of him. I see all the Chitwa cars are out and ready. Lots of hippo tracks. Lots and lots of hippo tracks leading back to the water, as they should be. Although they might take advantage of the cooler weather today. Now, if you haven't ever joined us on Safari Live before, big welcome to all of you. Remember, this is an interactive show. So all you have to do is hashtag Safari Live, or you can also talk to us via the YouTube chat. Whichever you prefer. I don't know if Surprise has gone back behind the damn wall. Morning. How are you?
Good.
Did you check behind the damn wall?
Not today.
Okay, I'll go have a quick look down there.
There was some mala.
Okay, I'll go have a scratch there. I'll let you know. Cheers. There we go. So just a quick chat with Surprise. Oh, guess who it is? It's Ali. Who wants to say hello to Ali? Ali loves saying hello to everybody. Look now, she's smiling. How can we embarrass Ali today? Because we live. Not even a little bit. I love that you've got a little rangerette in front with you in training. Next generation of rangers. You should come on my car then. No, I'm joking. I'm only teasing. Ali's the best. Because everyone else watching is stuck with me today. Shame. Poor them. Hey, Ali.
She's got a rise on Sydney Sea.
Okay, very cool. Very, very nice.
That's the dance training.
Should we swap, Ali? I'll finish your safari and then you can do the rest of the sunrise safari. I bet all the viewers are now going, yeah, Taylor, get out. Get going. I'm sure they are. They are. If I go and read the comments now, that's exactly what they'll be saying. Yeah, they miss you lots. They say, come back. You have to say that because the camera's on you, hey? I'm just putting you on the spot this morning because it's so much fun. Literally spotting Ellie this morning with a spotlight. That's the only thing I'm going to find. You're my only content. Please hang around. Wonderful. Rebecca's now keying the mic. What is she going to say to me? No, she's just let me hear my own voice.
Stop talking, beep, beep.
No one can hear what Ellie's saying. Ah, that's my favorite, is when you can't hear what anybody else is saying back to you, because now I can just make it up.
You want us to say?
Yeah, you could. Signing would be better. Come look behind the damn wall. Bye. Have a nice day, guys. There we go. So Ellie says she doesn't miss any of you. I can't believe she said that loud. No, I'm just joking. She would never ever say anything like that. She says she misses all of you and she sends her love. And she's having a great time at Chitwa. Her guests are lovely. She had a young girl in front with her, which was quite nice. I bet she was excited. Although I would have been the worst passenger. I would have been nagging and wanted to kick one tracker off and sit on the tracker seat instead. That's like my favorite thing to do. So there we go. It's always nice to tease Ellie. I have to tease her when she's not here, because when she comes back she's very strict and then I need to behave. Otherwise I get into trouble. I'm always in trouble. Lots of hippos. Goodness, it's like somebody left the tap on at Chitwa Dam. It's so full. So full. So we'll go behind the dam wall in a minute. Let's just have one quick look at the hippos, because it's pretty with all the mist. Now, we were saying that we could see hippo tracks all coming back towards the dam. So Childhood Universe, yes, there could easily be hippos that are still on their way back to the water's edge. When did this pool fill up? This is new. I don't even remember seeing that. That's nice. We'll have a little mud spa in there. Good morning, hippos. Look at this one. Hello. What would you like? Have you just got back in the water? It's like they've actually all just got back in because they're quite close to the edge. Normally they float on out to their spots. Let me see if I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to guess. There must be about 15 hippo in this pod. Somewhere like that. I bet I've missed a couple as they're underneath the water. Oh, this is nice. Now all we need is at sunrise, but I don't think it stands a chance just yet. The mist is super thick. This would have looked cool at 4 o'clock in the morning. This would have looked very, very nice. There's some little ones playing about, just mouthing one another. Rebecca, the reason why I was not at Chitwa Dam at 4 o'clock in the morning is because safari doesn't start then. Where were you? Were you also? Why weren't you here, directing me? Actually, I've decided that Rebecca doesn't direct. She just bosses. That's what she does. I'm going to have to take my mom's hashtag away from her and give it to Bossy Bex. Oh, this is lovely, isn't it? Very peaceful. I wish I could join them. Oh, there's a fish eagle coming in, Ferg. Look at this. Come on, catch a fish. Catch a fish for us. Go, Ferg, go. That's amazing. Woo! And sitting right here for us. How beautiful was that? Wasn't that stunning? Perfect, absolute perfect timing. Actually, we planned that. Hey, Ferg, is that the fish eagle we put in the cage yesterday? And then the one that we sort of set the time before that the doors open and it'll... The one that lives in your room. Of course, we're just joking. But it did seem like that, hey? It was all too well planned there. Sometimes nature just works for us. And this morning, it definitely did, having that fish eagle fly past. And that's often the question that you get from guests, is like, you're lying. At 6 o'clock, you just open the gates and then the animals are allowed to come out and feed for the day, and then at night they go back into their enclosures. Because it really does feel like that, especially when you have lots of leopards and things around, lots of elephants, or when fish eagles, do that. It's hard not to think that that's what happened. Your feathers are looking a little bit tatty. I suppose it's kind of like my hair this morning in the mist, though. It's a bit damp. Maybe it has got a few damp feathers, although we didn't get any rain last night. I would have been even more perfect if it could have just flown down and tried to catch a fish for us, because, you know, I've only been waiting 7 years to see that. That's all. What a lovely bird. Ah, well, it seems as though Tristan's taken off his pajamas and he's put on his khakis. He's out on foot. Let's go and see what his plans are.
Well, we have indeed. We've decided it's no good to do a bushwalk in pajamas. It's much better to be in khakis that can get wet and damp, because it's going to be a damp morning with all of this mist. But how beautiful is it walking through here? It feels quite eerie as you walk along, and it's all kind of misty. Now, as Taylor mentioned, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got a Batman that's with me, so that's Craig, for those of you who don't know who Batman is. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to head probably northwest. I think we're going to head up sort of via Taylor Access and try and see if we can maybe find any sign of the Nkuhuma Pride coming back. I believe they were on Simambili yesterday, slowly coming kind of this way. So we're going to go check around for them, see if there's any tracks for them on this side. So that's the kind of plan for the morning. And let's also have a look at all the little things too. Now, I think it was Hope Purple, is that right, Rebecca? No, we didn't get any rain last night. We had a situation where it was pretty clear, and it's just the mist that has come down, probably because we had a lot of moisture in the sort of on the ground from the recent rain, and that coupled with a very warm night has caused a lot of evaporation. And then because we're now going into winter, we're getting cooler air coming down, and that's just compressing that water vapor down onto the ground, and that's why we're getting this mist layer that we're seeing here. Now, I don't think this is going to last too long. If I look back towards the east, you can see there's an orange glow that is coming. In fact, the sun is actually starting to even rise through the trees on the sort of left-hand side. And so it's slowly but surely going to come up, and once that sun is up, this mist is going to disappear very, very quickly, and we're going to have a situation where, in all likelihood, it's going to be a very, very hot morning. Now, Conrad reckons it looks like a war zone. Do we look like we're coming out of one of those movies? What was the name of the very famous one? Saving Private Ryan. Something like that, Conrad, where it's just this mist that has descended and the battle is about to start. Well, hopefully we're not going to get into a situation where we're going to get into a battle with anything. Don't really feel like being in a war zone with any of our animals this morning. We'll try and keep it safe and keep it tidy as we go along. But it should be a beautiful morning. Like I say, I think the first sort of hour and a half will be nice and cool, and then I think we're going to get probably blasted by the sun in the last hour. But that will be nice because it will kind of change the way that things will happen. Now, sorry, Rebecca, if you can just repeat what's most active in the mist. No, I can't hear Rebecca what she said. Bugs. Ah, okay. So, Brad, the bugs... No, not really. So mist is quite cold. It makes life difficult for them. So you'll find them, a lot of them will be tucked away at the moment in trees and grasses and those kind of things, just trying to hide out and wait for the sun to come out. Once the sun comes out, they often will dry themselves and their wings, and then they start to move around. And if it's a hot day, then they're very, very active. So the more sun you have, the more active insects become, and also it's also quite closely linked to rain. So if you have a lot of rain, then the hot weather after the rain, then you find the insects are at their most sort of productive and most sort of visible. The problem with them when it's sunny is that it's very difficult for us to actually film them because they're so active. They're flying around and bouncing around all over the place. Makes life a little bit difficult. Now is actually a really good time to look for insects. It's tough to find them because a lot of them camouflage well, but it's a good time because it's a little bit cooler, and so they're not as active at all. Good, we're going to keep going northwest. We're going to go try and see what we can find up in this corner. While we do that, let's send you back across to Taylor, who I think is hanging out at Chitwa Dam.
No, we're not. That's a big story. We're behind the dam wall. That's where we are. We're looking for leopards now. We'll go back to those hippos a little bit later. Anyways, we had 2 different leopards on the property. Surely we're going to find one of them this morning. So I'm just checking very carefully some of Tingana's favorite spots. Also whipping my ponytail back today. All the sass. I missed Sassy Saturday yesterday. I was very upset. We were talking about it while we're all having coffee. So we've decided that today is going to be Sassy Sunday, I think is what we're going to call it. It doesn't work as well, but we'll just go with it and take what you can get. So hence all the sass to Ali this morning. So bring out your sass. It's Sunday. Hopefully you're wearing your slippers. What else? Your sunscreen, your sunglasses, all the things with S's that will make you more sassy. Even if you're indoors, put your sunglasses on. You'll look so much better. Hey, should I also do that? Don't you think? How much more sassy do I look with these things on? Much more sassy. Michael, at some point we will try and have a look at that barn owl nest. We'll do that if we have no luck with the leopards. That will be a backup plan. We'll see if we can get a view. Every time I've gone there so far, though, I haven't actually been able to see any of the chicks. Whether it's because they're just too far back in the nest. I'm not really sure. I even put the spotlight in, but couldn't really see too well at all. Come on, the Egyptian goose. Take off. So apparently there was some impala alarming, I think, a little bit further east of the camp. I just want to check nicely as I drive down here. I don't see any tracks coming over the... Ferg didn't want to. He has already wiped the lanes. You might see that cloth come around screen every now and then. It's still very misty. Okay, no, it doesn't look like anybody's here, but I could have also missed a leopard. That's the truth. Okay, we're going to do a sneaky shortcut. We're going to go through this way because I want to get round to the other side. I think maybe we'll go back to, bounce, where we had Tingana and Hosanna. And we'll start there. Let's see, maybe Tingana hasn't even moved. Maybe he's still just lounging around at room 11. There we go. If you want to come and stay at Chitwa, room 11 is the Tingana room. And then Hosanna looks out and after every other room. And he just goes wherever he wants. So no leopard tracks coming out. Not yet. Now I think I hear Ali talk. Is Ali looking for me? It's quickly. She is. Standing by. Ali, can you copy me? I'm hearing like every second word. Ali, I can't copy you. Please, can you maybe send me a message? Right, so we're just driving behind back a house. I'm going to try and get hold of Ali. She said my name about 30 times on the radio. Let's go to Brent, who's also tracking leopards.
Well, we haven't got any leopard tracks to track just yet, but we are in... Actually, no, I've changed my mind. I don't want to go this way now. We are in the area where Tandi's tracks were last seen before the rain, so we're hoping to find some tracks from today. And we're just sort of doing a big loop around the edge and maybe check Cheetah Cut Line, and then we'll come back along Drakensberg, Quarry Pan. Oh, we've got a message. There's leopard tracks crossing into Djuma. Stand by. You can cut the tension with the knife. The quarry at Gowrie Main. Okay, we're quite far. I think Tristan's closer to us there. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick check for Tandi. And if we have no luck with tracks on Tandi, then I think we'll go into that area. But I'm pretty sure Tristan is heading in that general direction. Let's see if he has any luck around there. I was actually just chatting to VM as we drive past Buffelshoek here. We used to see a lot of leopard around Buffelshoek Dam. And they're saying I haven't seen a leopard around Buffelshoek Dam in an age. Oh, we're going to get a nice sunrise as we get up onto the high ground. I'm trying to think which the last leopard I saw at Buffelshoek Dam was. I think it was Djuma. Okay, I'm just going to let Herbie know where those tracks are. Herbie, apparently there's an Nkonzo of an Ingwe crossing into Vuyatela at the quarry Shibam Junction. I'm still quite far. I'm up on Buffelshoek boundary if you guys want to head into that area. Here we go. Copy. Send bushwalk there. Hyena tracks everywhere. Hyena tracks everywhere. With the amount of hyena tracks we see on Djuma every day, you would think the den was here, but unfortunately the den is still not here. I think it's in the Manuleti, southern Manuleti. A lot of tracks go out that way. Okay, look, as I said, Let me just give you a quick glimpse, and then I'm going to shoot to the high ground. As that sun's going to pop through over the horizon shortly. Just so. Oh dear. Just wait. What Nyamazan is that, Prem? So there's tracks very close to where we... Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what animal they had there. Okay, so I can't hear whether it's like or leopard or wild dog. Prem, confirm, Ngala. Ah, here we go. Lions. Not far, but heading away from Buffelshoek boundary, unfortunately. So probably Torchwood Pride. So they're heading towards Nyala Dam, which is actually right here, opposite us. So you never know, they could change their direction and come back for a visit. Sounds like Torchwood Pride from the tracks, because we know where the Nkuhumas were. Copy, thanks very much, Prem. Good luck. Okay, here we go. I wanted to get to the high ground to show you the sun. Say when, VM. How's that? There you go, you can see the sun coming through the mist this morning. I'm just going to keep quiet for a second and just listen to see if we can hear lions or leopard or alarm calls. Lions have made a kill. I can hear them fighting by the sounds of things. Let me just try put that so VM can put the mic in that direction. Just listen again. They're so close, that's so frustrating. Can you hear it, VM? That's so frustrating, they're so close. Prem. So I'm just going to call Prem in. Prem, come on to Buffelshoek Katla. I can hear the Ngala fighting over a kill, but it's just inside Buffelshoek, I can't see it. That's so frustrating, they're so close yet so far. I'm going to try to see if we can find one gap to have a look. Oh dear. Well, let's go back to Tristan, who's looking at some of the smaller things on Bushwalk.
Well, hopefully those lions will pop across Brent and you'll be able to get to see them. But what we've got is an absolutely fascinating building process that is taking place. So we are watching a group of termites that are slowly but surely packing little bits. As you can see, look how they worm the little stones and a little bit of particles of soil in amongst each other and to try and just kind of build this tunnel that's coming up. It's amazing watching them go about it and how quickly they actually get it done. They have a situation where they kind of look as though not really much is happening, but we've been sitting here for a little bit watching what's going on, and the amount of work that they've done from us just sitting here is pretty incredible. So watching these guys is amazing, and what they're basically doing is because the soil at the moment is very damp, it's very pliable, it makes life much easier. You can see that this damp soil is a different color to the soil below, and so underneath the ground the soil is actually quite dark. And so what these guys are doing is taking particles of soil and they're mixing it with their saliva and their feces, and they're building the structure that you're seeing here. Now the problem, unfortunately, for these guys is that they're building on a road, so they're going to have a situation where, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to drive over this at some point, so their work is probably going to be for nothing. But you see how they start off by building little tunnels. So this is the tunnels that kind of go out, and then here is the little sort of aeration tube, if you want to call it that. This is going to help with just cleaning, or being able to keep everything nice and cool inside there, and basically controlling the temperature. Unfortunately for them, one of them was so busy trying to kind of defend the nest when we arrived, one of the soldiers, that he fell out. And you can actually see on this edge here, it's broken. So that little edge there collapsed when the soldier fell out, and now they're trying to repair it. But amazing to watch them grabbing particles of soil and going about their business. You know, we often see these massive termite mounds, and you think to yourself, it must be a serious process to kind of build that, but you don't realize how long it must take. If you think of this is a tiny, tiny scale. I mean, I'll put a grass stalk in this frame, give you an idea of just how small this is. And with that, every little one of them is packing a particle of soil, and slowly but surely it grows from this tiny little sort of ground mound that we're seeing. We can hear the lions as well. They sound just south of us at the moment. They're somewhere to the southern side. I'm pretty sure Brent can hear them where he is. They sound actually not too far at all. So hopefully they're going to start coming north. Maybe the Birminghams are on their way back. It sounds like it could be then, which is very exciting. Good. We're going to leave our termites to themselves. We'll let them kind of carry on and see what they... Well, if they get to finish, I'll come back maybe this afternoon and we'll see what progress there will be. It's going to be amazing how that will be much more dry than what we see now. Anita, termites they're probably one of the most incredible creatures that we have out here. They seriously are such a sort of interesting insect in that, one, they live very long in terms of the queen. Two, they have this amazing ability to coordinate themselves, them and ants, and they're able to kind of communicate between each other and make sure that everything is done as a unit, and that makes them formidable. And then to be able to build this structure that allows them to live the way that they do, and particularly the ones that are fungus growers, that have the right sort of temperature and humidity in order to keep this sort of fungus alive, is pretty insane. So it's an incredible sort of feat of engineering that we see from these little termites, and they amaze me in the way that they go about their business and what they actually get up to. Now, just got to get rid of a stone that's in the shoe. There we go, that feels a bit better. It's never pleasant when you're walking and a stone is in the shoe. So apparently Brent says the lions that we can hear are different to the ones that he's hearing, so we're going to try to get onto those. They don't sound like they're that far away. They sound like they're just on the southern side, somewhere this side, maybe down Zoe's towards Guy Remain. So we're going to try and head in that direction quite quickly. We'll do a little brisk walk in that direction, and hopefully we'll get some luck. Now, while we mobile ourselves southwards in a brisk manner, let's send you back across to Brent, let's see if he's heard any other lions roaring.
Oh, it is just one of those things out in the bush. They're not even 100 meters away. Prem's going to let me know which lions they are, so that could be useful in terms of who it is. I don't think it's the Nkuhumas. I think if it is a pride, it's probably the Torchwoods. It could be the Avoca males. I would say it doesn't sound like males fighting. It sounds like there's at least 5 or 6 individuals fighting there, including some sort of smaller ones just from the sound of the growls. But I just showed Prem now, he's on his way in. So Tristan is heading down towards Treehouse Dam. Where's my map? Let's show you. Okay. So where Tristan and Herbie think let's get yeah, that's the right way around. And no, that's the right way around if we are. So Tristan and them think their audio is down here, and that's audio of lions roaring, whereas we are over here, and that's audio of lions feeding. So very different sounds. Herbie's talking to me. Okay, so Herbie's just saying he's got more audio. It could be south of our boundary, but it's very close to the boundary in this area here. So we're on the complete opposite side of Djuma. We might make our way down there now, but it's going to be very interesting to see. I think this could be Torchwood Pride. It just sounds like a pride to me. It doesn't sound like males, like the Avocas. and it doesn't sound like something big that they've caught, because maybe something like a kudu or whatnot, because it's just constant growling, which normally happens around smaller carcasses. On big carcasses like buffalo or giraffe, there's a lot less of that growling because there's a lot more food to go around. Okay, I'm just listening. I'm just listening to Prem to see if he can tell me which lions they are. Anyway, well, it's the closest we've come to lions in a while. Even though we couldn't see them. Can we count it because we could hear them? I don't know. Okay. Let us keep moving. Keep looking for tracks. Okay, well, it sounds like we're not going there anymore. Shayla's changed her mind and going there and leaving Chitwa. So we're going to keep looking for Tunde. We will let Taylor head into that direction, and let's go see how close she is.
Oh, sorry everyone, oh my goodness, I've got all the radios going. I was just chatting to Herbie, trying to get a stick from underneath my car. We haven't had any luck with leopards. The only leopard tracks I've seen are those of Tingana that go straight towards camp and they don't come out. And knowing Tingana, he's been spending quite a bit of time inside Chitwa Lodge, so he could still be just having a rest under one of the decks or on one of the decks. It wouldn't surprise me if you'd get up onto one of them and have a little relax. Bex, you might get gremlins. I'll be quick. Just gonna go through this little dip. I'm not going to say much. I don't know, Bex, do you still have me? Amazing! That is very impressive. I didn't normally the gremlins take us there. The signal's been interesting at the moment. Anyways, so no real luck with leopards, no birds alarming, nothing to really help us out this morning. So Tristan, obviously you heard lions roaring near Treehouse Dam. So I want to head into that area. I will get on the radio at some point and chat to Herbie. So I'm just going to pick the pace up. Coming through, turtle doves. They're quick. They're normally really good and fly away. So we'll just have a little scratch around. I'm really excited to see lions. As you all know, out of all the cats, the lions are my absolute favorite. And I haven't seen a lion for some time, so sorry Spots. I had a good dose of rosettes yesterday. I think I've had my fill, but I would like to see the Nkuhumas. And this is such a cool morning as well. I'm going to keep the red Game Drive radio on just in case. So what we'll do is we'll head straight towards Treehouse Dam, I think, and then take it from there. As we get a little bit closer, I might stop and try and listen as well. Now, for those of you, again, if you've never joined us and you want to ask any questions, perhaps you want to know about the prides of lions or the leopards or anything like that, you can chat to us, hashtag Safari Live, let us know. What's on your mind? The thing that's on your mind.
Sorry about that, guys. It sounds like Taylor's having a few gremlins. We found where the Torchwood Pride came in. They actually came along Cheetah Cut Line right at the beginning, and they've now gone into Buffelshoek and they've killed something. I'll find out what they've caught. But everyone is talking a lot at the moment. You can try to turn this down. There we go. So let's see if we can find any sign. See if we can find any sign. Sorry, I'm just listening to Taylor now. Any sign of tracks of Tandi. I wonder which lines are those that Herbie and Tristan can hear calling. Is it the Nkuhumas coming north, or is it the Birminghams coming north? We're going to have to wait to see. Now, isn't this beautiful this morning with all this mist? I think we definitely need a leopard in the mist. So far, no leopard tracks yet this morning, only lions and lions leaving. Now, the one thing about the dynamics between predators and between predators of the same species and predators in general, you see something, Vempi? Are constantly on the change. Yes, it's hyena tracks. And is that a male leopard track as well? But it's older. Is it? No, it's not. Okay, so okay, let's just hang on. Sorry, this radio has been very distractive. It sounds like these lines are moving very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut through the middle on Central. It sounds like they're heading this way at high speed, according to Herbie. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, the dynamics between leopards at the moment. Yes, it goes in waves. So at the moment they're changing very quickly. But normally they're a lot more stable for long periods of time, but they can change very quickly, as we're seeing at the moment. And the fact that we've had, since I've been with Safari Live, we've had 3 dominant males on Djuma alone. Normally you'll have one dominant male for 3 or 4 years before you have upheaval like this, but at the moment it's just one of those times of transition. Now, with Hukumuri coming in and being a lot younger than a lot of the males we've had over the last while, there's a much stronger chance that we're going to go into a period of stability with Hukumuri. Now, of course, that could change again. Everything can change. There's no guarantees out here. So just have a quick look, make sure Tandi hasn't walked here. But at the moment, I think we're still in for quite a bit of turmoil over the next 6-7 months before everything settles down again. Okay. Now, it is possible, depending on how much noise those lions make fighting over there, that these lions might hear it, particularly if they're males, and might head straight in that direction. It is very interesting. I just wonder which ones they are. The fact that they're moving so fast and calling makes me think it's possibly Birminghams rather than Nkuhumas. But we noticed as soon as the Birminghams came back last time, the Nkuhumas came back into the north quite quickly after that. And the Birminghams left, and there was a sound of the evokers calling to the north, and they skedaddled back down to the south and west. Now it seems we're all highly mobile, trying to zone in on these lions. Let's send you to Tristan, who's probably the slowest out of the 3 of us.
Well, we're still trying to follow up on this audio, which is the one that Brent's talking about, but it's definitely not just the Birminghams. It sounds like the entire Nkuhuma Pride and the Birminghams. There are lots and lots of lions roaring, and they are moving very, very fast. So are we, really. We're kind of almost jogging down the road at this stage, trying to get into the area. It sounds like they're somewhere close to maybe Chelapan, Ingwe Alley, Philemon's Cut Line, somewhere there. We can hear them roaring incessantly at the moment. It literally is every 2-3 minutes there's roars just being belted out, and it must be the most incredible thing. That's why we're trying to rush to try and find them, is because with this mist layer, if you've got roaring lions, it's one of those amazing kind of things to witness. So that's why we're trying to kind of get there as fast as we can and hope that we can maybe try and find them. I know Taylor's on her way, Brent's on her way, so between the three of us, theoretically, we should be able to find these lions. Well, we hope anyway. But I wonder what's made them so upset, because generally the Nkuhuma Pride is not very vocal. They normally come in here, they're quite quiet, but today something's upsetting everybody, and maybe it's the sort of Tortured Pride being very close to Buffelshoek Dam area. Maybe that's what's causing a little bit of an issue amongst everybody. So we'll see how it goes. Let's try and get into that area as quick as we can, and hopefully we'll have some luck with all of this. We've also got to pay attention to other things as well while we're walking. It's one of those things when you're trying to kind of get somewhere on foot, you often walk quite hard, and you've got to remember that there can be elephants and buffalo and all of these other things as well. So, Carol, likely no. The mist is not that thick that it's dark. I mean, it's quite bright out here, and particularly now that the mist is almost gone, it's going to burn away very quickly now, given that the sun is risen. So, no, I don't think so. It's not cold enough either. It's still a very sort of humid, warm kind of feel this morning, and so I don't think so. If it was a dark morning where there's heavy cloud cover, low down, a little bit sort of drizzly. Wait, listen. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting very close. We need to just kind of hustle and try and get there as fast as possible. I think they're not far from us at all in this block right here. So we're going to try and kind of get there and closer as much as we can. So the lions definitely are very vocal this morning. And like I say, not very happy about life at all. Whatever is irritating them, they're certainly making a bold statement about it. Like I was saying as well, you've got to have a situation where you've got to try and kind of just pay attention to what else is going on. So Herbie's kind of out in front, which is good, and then I'm with Craig, and I'll kind of look around, and Herbie's also scanning as he's going, making sure that we're safe while we're walking as fast as we are, and making sure we're not getting ourselves into a situation where we're going to walk into some semblance of danger. So it's always good to have somebody like Herbie around. He's such a, great reader of the bush and the tracks. And it's funny because when we heard these lines the first time, Herbie was telling me that, he said to me, no, they sound like they might be a little bit far. And then we heard them a second time, and then he said, this big smile just comes up on his face. And then he says, no, these guys are not far. So he's kind of then, we started to rush down the side. Right, we're going to carry on. We're not far. Like I say, we're going to try and get into the area quickly. And while we do that, let's send you back to Brent and see if he's any closer.
Welcome back. I hope Tristy gets some luck there. Unfortunately, it looks like Taylor's found gremlins galore, so we're going to move into the area to help out. Okay, so Tristan said around Chelapan, Pangolin track, also maybe possibly Jigga Road or Ingwe Alley, and so we must have passed that area just before they arrived. Okay, so very exciting after no lions for quite some time. The lions have been, lots of lion activity around. The fact that we could hear the Tortured Pride. I've never actually seen the Tortured Pride, so it's a little bit frustrating that we could hear them so close and not see them. But there's a possibility, being so close to Buffelshoek Dam, that that's where they're going to go for a drink. Now, around here, if we see any tracks of lions, it means it's on top of the tracks, because this is the route that VM and I took this morning. And there was no sign of Thandi around Guaripan, Drakensberg, Central. So I wonder if she's in the block somewhere, or maybe even in Torchwood. Okay, so Herbie's just called in. Ah. Okay, sorry. It's just, I need to be on the radio for a second. Now, it could be very close around here. Let's see if we can, I'm going to stop and listen for a second. Once we get down towards Leopard. So this is the area somewhere between here and to the northwest of us. And see what happens. Now, we heard lions fighting over a kill this morning, and Jim is wondering, are the sounds between lions fighting amongst each other and lions fighting over a kill different? Yes, they are, Jim. A proper lion fight is a lot louder than lions fighting on a kill. You'll have moments that might sound similar, but the lions actually fighting, it's a lot louder. Whereas on a kill, you got a lot of those low, and trying to eat and growl at the same time. Aha! Taylor seems to have found one of the lionesses, so let's go across to her.
We have its amber eyes too. Hello, girl. Are you scent marking? Looks like she did just rub up against that tree. She's also contact calling. The others are here. They're going to come out. You go up further forward. There's another one calling. They're all walking, just coming through here now, which is very, very cool. The rest of the pride is listening to you. Still calling. I don't know how many lionesses we've got. I can hear 2. The other one, we should see her in a minute. See, they've stopped. They're having a little listen. It's quite nice to hear the Nkuhumas vocal, don't you think? Beautiful. Off she goes. Cool, let's go further forward. Where's this other lion? Somewhere. I'm sure they'll all join up eventually and we'll get nice views of them. Calling again. Amber Eyes is very vocal this morning. Just having a little look around to see if I can see where the others are. No one there. Okay, we'll carry on going up a bit further forward. They're definitely in here though. I can hear them, which is quite nice. Oh, they're really moving. There we go. Now, Carol, you've asked if she's perhaps calling for her cubs. As far as I'm aware, Amber Eyes doesn't have any cubs. I think she's just trying to keep in contact with her pride, with the other lionesses, as they seem to be slightly sort of split up. I'm not sure why or what's happened during the night. Like I said, we can hear the others. Here she's calling again. Another one coming from behind us, very close. Here she comes. Directly behind you of your left shoulder. It sounds a bit more like a boy. Who we got, a Birmingham? No. Goodness, that was a deep roar, don't you think? Who is it? Show yourself. They're all coming though, I can hear them. Oh no, it's a lioness with the... They've been fighting. Look at her eye. She's also got a cut in her eye now. This is not the lioness with the opaque eye. Maybe that's why they split up. Perhaps they've bumped into the Styx Pride or something along the lines. But she has got a fresh injury to her right eye. We will try and get a better view of that. Anna, your guess is as good as mine as to why the lions are so worked up. Unfortunately, I haven't seen them for a while, so I haven't had a chance to catch up with them. But that injury on the eye suggests to me that there's been a fight of some sort. With who? I don't know. It's almost impossible to say. But let's keep up with them because they're going to disappear again, and I don't want them to disappear in the drainage. There are more coming, but I'm going to stay up ahead with Amber Eyes and this lioness, and I'm pretty sure the rest will follow. They're slowly coming through. It's just if they go off-road, we're going to be in trouble, as it's very thick and then also it's so misty. I want to try and get around her, but it's a bit thick now. Oh, almost... I forgot to take the car out gear when I was roading. So, it's going to be a bit difficult to try and do a little maneuver. We'll have to wait till the vegetation is not so dense and it opens up, which it will. I wonder where they're going to go. If they're going to go towards the Vertella Dam. Keep an eye out on the dam cam, because their general direction is sort of north. No, she's taking a sneaky pathway off into the thicket. Yay! Can't see anybody else that's behind us just yet. Let's keep up with these two. Okay. Now this is the fun part. Right. Well, they're going down into the drainage line. We're going to find a way to get in there. Tristan? Oh, hang on. Can you see that lioness? Sorry, Bex. She's up on the termite mound, just above her head. There's Amber Eyes. If you keep going. There she is. It's like she's in the tree. But I don't think she is. I think she might be on a termite mound. What are you? Have you climbed on up there? Hear the squirrels and things going mad. So we'll try and find a way in there. And it seems as though the fog and the dew is much appreciated because it's highlighting some spider webs. And that's what Tristan's looking at.
Well, the mist is definitely playing a part in being able to spot spider webs, and we have probably one of the most incredible webs that we see out in this part of the world is built by a very cool spider, and you can see it's got these kind of layers to it. It almost looks a bit like a wedding cake in some respects, that has kind of been layered and tiered all over the place. But it's called a tropical tent web spider, and the reason it's got the name tent web is because of the way that it has this kind of drooping manner, and then it comes down and then kind of goes up in the middle of the web. So in the sort of center part, you'll see a slightly raised section, and that's where the spider actually spends most of their time. Now, on this particular web, there's 3 different sort of tents that have been built with 3 different spiders of varying sizes. There's a small one on the right-hand side of the web, as you look at it. That's a tiny little spider and a tiny little tent that's being built. Then you've got a medium-sized one right up at the top with a sort of medium-sized spider in it. And then the lowest level has got the really big individual that is just sitting underneath. Now, Craig, I don't know if maybe you want to come this side, because there's a really nice view of the spider from this side. Funnily enough, it's pretty cool to see. If you get in underneath and you're able to kind of look up under the web, it's pretty cool to see. Oh, careful, Craig. You're right. So Craig almost fell. Sorry about that. Craig, okay. So there's this little slippery sort of bump here, and there's a situation where Craig almost had a little tumble, but luckily we avoided all of that. I'm going to try and get this branch out of your way, Craig. That's going to help you. There we go. So there's the spider just sitting up in the actual sort of tent part of it itself, and basically they set this up, and as animals move, so they kick things up into the web, and those spiders can then run and kind of grab whatever it is, wrap it up very quickly and feed off it. But isn't that just the most intricate thing that you've seen? So, Lili, you'll find that the big web that you're seeing here, this bottom sort of section and layer, this is all one spider that's done that. This top layer is probably the second spider, which is just inside in the middle there. and then there was a third one that's built a tiny little web on the right. But most of the construction lines and what's gone on would have been from that big spider at the bottom. So it's an amazing amount of work, and this bottom web itself is incredible. It's so much silk that has been spun and been kind of released from the spider. It is a serious amount of effort that they go through to be able to get this. What amazes me is that even though this is the structure that we see, the amount of guidelines and kind of bits of web that are actually all over this tree is pretty incredible. They kind of go all over from left to right, and they kind of establish themselves there, and then slowly but surely they pull together branches. Because if you look over here, this branch wasn't growing in this angle. It's been pulled that way, and it's been attached to some of the other branches that have also been pulled, and they've used the thorns of this tree to be able to kind of attach all of their little guidelines and pull it all together to make a perfect little place for them to build their little tent. I think it's fascinating and absolutely amazing to be able to see webs like this. This is one of the best sort of things about having a misty morning, is that you have the situation where the webs all get highlighted by the mist, and then if you get a bit of sun that breaks through, you get this golden droplets on the web. It is absolutely beautiful. So we need to try and maybe find a golden orb web spider, because their nest, their spider webs in the mist is probably one of the most amazing things. Now, you have noticed that we've slowed our pace right down completely. And the reason why is because Taylor found the line that was very, very close to us. So she found it just below where we were, which is perfect. That's exactly what we wanted, is for one of them to really find it. For us, it would have been nice to kind of find on foot for a little bit, but ultimately, in terms of the longevity of a sighting, it's better if the cars find them. There are still some of the pride roaring. It's not just the females. Like I say, I'm pretty sure that there's no Birminghams actually now that I've been hearing them more and more and more. Pretty sure it's all the girls. So we'll just see. I wonder why they're so vocal, though. It's interesting. Maybe they've heard the Torchwoods feeding close to Buffelshoek Dam, and that's why they've made so much noise. And they are mobile, by the sounds of things, straight east. Right. Now, while we kind of carry on, let's send you back across to Brent and find out if, well, maybe he's found the rest of the pride, or what he thinks of all of this noise.
Well, we've left Taylor to it, and we had that report of leopard tracks coming into Djuma right here around this area. So we decided to come have a look. Where are they now? Did someone just send us all the way here for hyena tracks, Vim? Because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That is definitely not a leopard. That is definitely a hyena. Have we been sent on a wild goose chase? Oh, dearie, dearie me. Oh, dearie, dearie me. I don't like wild goose chases. Let us go back again. Let's just double check very carefully. So far we've got doves, hyena, steenbok, thick knee, more dove, no leopard tracks. Let's just check it a little bit further down. Hornbill. You got a whole plethora of things that aren't leopard here. Squirrel. Now, I was going to be looking at the ground here, but Costa, as a general rule, leopards will avoid lions. Lions couldn't care. If they can find a leopard, they'll catch a leopard, they'll kill it, or if they can steal a kill from a leopard, they will. But as a general rule, the leopards will try to avoid lions. Lions are very dangerous. More hyena tracks. More squirrel tracks. This is a little bit disappointing. Hopefully we're going to find a leopard track here. We're hoping, see, someone's been walking here, so there could very well be leopard tracks here. Okay, while we continue to see if we can find these leopard tracks, let's send you back to Madam McCurdy, who's still following those lines.
Well, we're trying to relocate on those lionesses. They went running into the drainage line. So we're going to see if we can find them. I did try and sit quietly to see if I could hear them. They've now become very quiet. So we're going to just have a quick sneak down here. There's some nice pans, and we have seen the Nkuhumas in and around here before. But now it's basically a game of where they're going to come out. Because we couldn't get in from where they were. There was just too much Tambwati. I just want to sit and listen for 2 seconds, see if we can hear them. Or any birds alarming. Sneaky cats. Because, my goodness, to try and keep up with them is going to be a nightmare through this block. It is so thick. I was hoping they were going to come a little bit more north. It doesn't seem like they have. Now to get out of here. Actually, if I do this might be a little bit easier. Go like this. Sorry everybody, I'm off-roading, just looking around, trying to listen for lions. Okay, maybe we must go back up onto Central. Let's do that, and then maybe go check towards Hyena Road. Maybe they've changed direction again. They did seem fairly indecisive. Okie dokie, well, while we try and navigate and try and get these lions for you... Ow! I'll be... It's got stabbed by an entire tree. Okay, I'm going to send you to Tristan, who's having a lot more luck and seems to be skipping down the road.
I don't think skimming is probably a way I would describe my movement over ground. More like plodding, I would say. So anyway, Taylor, good luck. Stay safe. Watch where you're going. I know that I've driven that block before. In fact, I drove it this week with Tandy, and it is not a friendly place, Hyena Road. So I'm just getting rid of some spider webs. But if we have a look here, this is where the lions walked. So we were on course to find them. There's their tracks right here. So they were walking, and you can actually see that they were moving really quickly. So there's a lot of sand disturbance, especially at the front of the tracks, kind of being pulled forward. But from these tracks here, it looks like there was a sub-adult with them at some point, because you can see here is the toes of one female, but look at the size of the toes for another one. These are much, much larger. So that track, if I put my hand down, is quite big in comparison to that one there. So I think it might have been one of the sub-adults. We definitely heard more than 2 lions. There was, it sounded like most of the pride that was around, but they were moving very quickly, kind of going down. They weren't running, but they definitely, you can see the way that this track has been pushed in. If I walk normally, so if I put my hand down like this and just lift, you see how the track kind of has a little bit of depth to it, but not very, very much. But if I'm running or walking very fast and I dig my toes in like that, you can see the deep gouges that get made, much like what you see with this track over here. So they were moving very, very quickly. It's why we battled to kind of get in behind them. We were trying to walk as fast as we could to get down here to get the rest of them. In fact, actually, the rest of the pride is on that side, so there's a whole bunch of them that have walked around here. I'm pretty sure if Taylor just sticks with those 2 girls, maybe the rest of them will pop out, or if Brent maybe checks a little further east, might be able to find them. But Nkuhuma Pride was on a serious mission this morning. I don't know what's upset them or what's caused it. Maybe it's the arrival of the Majingalan male in EP. So the dark mane Majingalan, for those who don't know who that is a male lion from a coalition that used to be dominant in this area. In fact, look here, you can see they were actually running around after each other and playing around, and there's lots of scuffle marks all over them. Maybe they actually chased something here. I'll have a look carefully and just double check. Anyway, I believe Taylor's going to get one last view, so before they disappear, let's send you across to her.
There we go, in the thick mist. It seems to be getting worse. But more members of the Nkuhuma Pride have now joined. We're about to lose them again, I'm afraid. They're walking through the drainage between Hyena Road and Gowrie cut line, which is going to be very, very difficult to try follow them. I've walked in here before. It's beautiful for walking. There's some amazing little pathways that go underneath a canopy of trees. It would be lovely if we could actually get in there. But unfortunately, not for a vehicle. So now we need to... I'm just watching them. They're still walking just down. Don't think you can see them. It's too misty now. Here the squirrels alarming. How many more still need to come through? Oh, there's more. Peg and I looking up ahead. Here's the rest of the pride. Yes, there's the oldest Nkuhuma lioness with the injury on her hip. I think that's the last of them, and I think the rest are all already in the thicket. Okay, let's go up ahead. I think there might be one or two more spots where you can poke our nose sort of down and into. I just think they're marching fairly quickly, and unless something catches their attention, maybe they're heading in the direction that Brent heard, the sort of scrapping sounds of lions as they fought over something. That would attract them. Oh my goodness, I can't even see 20 meters up the road. It's so, well, maybe a bit, I'm being drama queen, but it's exceptionally misty. So they're moving fairly fast. I'm just trying to think. There's another nice spot we might be able to get into. Let's try here. I've gone down and in before. Into a hole that would take me to China. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. Next one. That one didn't work. We'll try the next gap. I miss winter. I can't wait for winter. And then you can just drive everywhere. It's so easy. Okay, I can hear the birds still chattering along, so we must be just in front of them, which is perfect. And just try to find another gap down here. Whoopsie, it makes me nervous. Can't see the road. Not that we're on a road. Well, this is my favorite part, where it gets really thick. It's a wall of trees. Whoops. Right, just I can actually see a little gap through here. At the moment it's exceptionally dense. We'll get a spot. I think they're going to just walk through the middle. Sarah, yes, the alarm calls do change for different predators. They might not sound any different to you and I, but to the other animals out there, most certainly. For instance, you're not going to a kudu worrying about an alarm call for a rat. Sometimes you will hear birds and things chatting away, and
Sub-adults. Now, unfortunately, it seems as though Taylor's got a few gremlins, and actually Herbie and I have just been discussing these tracks for these lions. There's a lot of tracks all over the road. You can just see as you kind of look down. But there's most definitely a male lion in this as well. So he's also been walking around and moving with the pride, and I know Taylor doesn't have any sign of a male lion with her, so Herbie and I are thinking maybe we should actually just follow these tracks and find out where the male's gone and the sub-adults, because the sub-adults are also here with some of the females, but it seems as though there's no sign of obviously a male with Taylor. Interestingly enough as well, whatever was going on here, these lions were very, very mobile and very playful this morning. There's so many places where it's just complete scuff marks all over the road, and so we were kind of having a little look around just to try and check. You can see here where one lion walked up the road, and then another one came back and greeted. So this is where they would have greeted. Here you see this is the back of the pad, and you've got the toes facing this way, but all the other tracks point this way. So one of the lions came back, they had a little greeting here, that's why there's a disturbance, and then back up. And there's lots of places where there's running and scrapes of the paws and all kinds of other things. So it might be worth us actually just trying to follow this to find the rest of the pride. You never know, maybe they've sort of left one of the sort of cubs, or the sub-adults, maybe with one of the Birminghams. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure there is a Birmingham amongst them. The track size for one of these lions is massive in comparison to all the others, and so pretty sure that that is going to be one of our Birmingham boys. You can also see here where they went up, and this is his. Look at that. So you can see this is a massive, massive sort of size of a paw. This is definitely the male that walked here. I was just checking now to see if he maybe scent marked, but he didn't scent mark. He hasn't scraped his back legs anywhere in this section, so he's not scent marking, but it's definitely a male. Now, Sarah, there are different alarm calls for different predators. Some people can hear them. personally, I can't. I know some trackers are incredibly good with monkeys in particular. So vervet monkey will have a different alarm call for, you can actually see all the scrape marks here, but a vervet monkey will have a different alarm call for a eagle as opposed to a snake, as opposed to a leopard, as opposed to a lion, as opposed to a hyena, and some guys can pick it up. Like I said, me, I can't, but some guys do. What I have also noticed is squirrels have very different alarm calls depending on the predator. So they'll have an alarm call for leopards that is very fast, very high pitched, and it doesn't stop. It just goes. Whereas you'll find something like a snake or something like that, it's a lot slower. There's a little bit more of a breath between each alarm call, so it makes it a little bit better. Now, the other problem that we're facing at the moment on walk is that it's starting to get mistier. It's actually not lifting at all. It's getting denser and thicker, and we need to actually start paying a bit more attention to what we're doing, because in this you can easily get surprised by animals moving way closer than you would want them to before you notice them. So you need to just be a bit careful in case there's things like elephants around or buffalo. You need to be a bit kind of on the edge of those. You can actually see as Herbie's walking down the road, he's starting to disappear a little bit into the mist. So you can see him kind of going that way. So our visibility at the moment is probably, I would say, maybe 60 meters at the most, which is not far in the bush, especially if you get into these thickets with a lot of trees. It becomes really difficult to see what's going on. But I think let's follow these tracks. Like I say, let's see where they take us. I'm pretty sure the sub-adults are in here with the male. So you never know. Maybe we find one of the Birminghams taking care of the sub-adults while the girls go and check out what's happening. Good. While we do that, let's send you across to Brent and see if he's maybe found some other tracks that he's been looking for.
Yes, unfortunately there were no leopard tracks in that area, and it's quite an easy place to spot tracks. So we're taking a little dabble into Chitwa. Apparently Tingana crossed out into Little Gowrie, but that means young Hosana could be about, or Kuchava. And as Tristan was saying, the visibility is not great. So you've got to keep your eyes peeled, your ears open. Now, we haven't seen mating leopards in quite a while. A catbrag, a male leopard won't actually travel that far to mate with a female. It works the opposite in leopards, is that the female leopards will travel up to 2 territories out of their natal territory or home territory to mate with the male. So it's the females who do the wandering and move out of territories to mate with the males. Now, we've seen that many times here at Safari Live. We've seen Karula do it, we've seen Kwatile do it, we've seen Tandi do it. So they will mate with the male within their territory, but often they'll move out of their territories, 2 to 3 territories over, and what they do there is they mate with all the males that surround their natal territory. So if those males, there happens to be a bit of a takeover or change of the guards, those males will all think that the cubs are theirs. So the biggest threat to leopard cubs often, well, in this case is other male leopards. About 70 to 75% of all leopard cub mortalities, known leopard cub mortalities in the Sabi Sands, are due to other male leopards, not to hyenas and lions, which is commonly thought. The leopard cubs have some strange mortalities which are less common. I know of leopard cubs that have been taken by a martial eagle, and leopard cubs that have been eaten by a python. So there are other strange things, but that's very pretty. But 75% are from other leopards. Now, isn't that beautiful? We've got a big male waterbuck in the mist. Well, there's a screenshot opportunity if I ever saw one. Absolutely stunning. Ruminating, chewing the cud. Now, even though it looks cold, it's not. I'd say we're probably up to about 25 degrees Celsius already this morning. And you can see the sun is now coming through, so the mist is going to start burning off quite a lot quicker as the sun gets higher. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep moving. Here we go. Rebecca thinks it looks like we're in the Highlands, so of Scotland. Yes, definitely a bit warmer than the Highlands of Scotland. I don't think if I was in the Highlands of Scotland I would be wearing and a very light little sweater. Now it's got warm enough that I'm actually been toying with a sweater off, so definitely not Highland cold. I do love these misty mornings in the bush. Very, very, very pretty. Some great opportunities to see very cool stuff. Well, it seems like the gremlins invaded me, so let's send you back to Tristan.
Well, Brent, hopefully you'll get rid of them. It seems as though, for some reason, both vehicles are being sieged today, and so poor Craig is going to have a dead arm by the end of this. Holding a camera the way that we are is not easy. Now, we're on the male line tracks at the moment, but it's really not... I don't know, Herbie and I are maybe sitting here, we're second guessing whether this is a good idea to be tracking male lines in, well, conditions like this. It's a situation where we can't see very far at all, and it looks like this male is trying to mate with these females. From the way he kind of keeps running, you can see he's kind of going in front of the females and almost cutting them off and just trying to kind of herd them around. And if there's only 4 females with the Nkuhuma Pride, I wonder if the 5th female isn't with this male and then the sub-adults, because we counted, as far as we can see, maybe 7 or 8 tracks of different lions, and so that means that there must be a situation where the sub-adults are here. Now, I'm pretty sure all 11 are around. If there's 8 of them, there will be 11. It's just that, obviously, with tracks, it can sometimes get a little bit kind of mixed up, but we're having to be very, very careful about what we're doing here, because, like I say, it is thick, it is dense, it's misty, and it's not great conditions to be tracking in. Carol, we don't know. I mean, we really don't see much of the Nkuhuma Pride to know if they're in estrus, and unfortunately we don't have a Jacobson organ that we can sense when there is animals in estrus. We have a situation where we've got to kind of just wait until we see males hounding the females and trying to kind of follow them. Then we can maybe pick up if they are in estrus and whether or not they're wanting to mate. But maybe with all the sound that we're hearing is not only from the situation where the tortured pride is around making noise, but also the boys that are here, and maybe female is coming into estrus and attracting the attention of the boys and making a lot of noise. And the good news about it is that with these lions making the noise that they are, it's interesting to me that the sort of, what do you want to call it, the Birminghams have responded as quickly, and that there is Birminghams here. It's good news, and hopefully there's a situation where, you know, the Birminghams won't just disappear, because with the Majingalans kind of going in a way that they are, and starting to get very, very old and frail and not looking good, you know, the situation is that, or the reality is that the Birminghams pretty much have free run of the entire sort of Sabi Sands at this stage. Well, particularly this sort of north and western side. So, I don't know, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if the Birminghams stay here. If females in estrus will definitely sort of keep them in this area, but whether or not they stay is the next question. Now, this is where Taylor found the 2 females to start with. So this is where Amber Eyes and the other female were found. And so I wonder if maybe this boy is somewhere here. We don't seem to find his tracks coming out yet. I'm just looking at Herbie. So Herbie says he's got his tracks now coming out as well. So we'll try and follow them a little bit. I wonder maybe he already went ahead of where Taylor found them. But there is the track there for the male cutting off, and looks like he may be scent marked and then went further in, but that's the male track. It was very big and very bulky. He's definitely been walking in this area, also lay down in this section. So let's just see where he went from here. Maybe we'll, like I say, be able to find exactly where he's gone. But Taylor found the females. Now I'm wondering, did Taylor come from this side? Doesn't look like it, because I don't see her tracks. But the male's still kind of going down the road. Maybe he's still on this road and Taylor just found the females before we found the males. Maybe he could be following behind, I don't know. Let's have a look, and we just need to be very careful about what we're doing and try and be as quiet as possible as we do this, because we don't want a situation where we're going to surprise a male lion in the mist who's trying to mate. Good, let's keep going and keep seeing what we can find. While we do that, let's go back across to Brent, who's continuing his bumble.
Okay. Well, no sign of Hasana around the dam, so we're going to head towards the area where Tristan Wiem last had Kuchava, see if she's maybe made a kill somewhere. So we're just going to go very slowly through here and keep a very close lookout for tracks. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Nada so far. Oh, we've got someone doing a swing around for tracks, but there's a hyena. Oh, beautiful morning at the moment. And you can see how much the mist's already burnt off now that the sun's a bit higher. It's not nearly as thick as it was 5 minutes ago even. Okay. Now we go slowly. What we're going to do, she seems to really like this area, so there's 4 or 5 roads that crisscross here, so we're going to check the most westerly road first, make sure she isn't closer to the airstrip, then we'll go along the southerly road, then through the central road, and then along the northern road, and then finally along the eastern road. Systematically cutting the block to see if her footprints cross anywhere. And this road was dragged yesterday, so tracks are going to be beautiful and easy to see. Now, while we're moving through this area, hoping to find any fresh sign of Kuchava, I've got a quiz for you, and I haven't done... Oh, let me just think. What haven't I done in the last little while? We did a leopard quiz yesterday. Oh, it is Draw a Bird Day today. Oh dear. So I think then definitely it is a bird quiz for sure. Okay, now let me think. What bird has the longest migration in the world? What bird has the longest migration in the world? Hashtag Safari Live if you know the answer. So try to turn the game drive radio down again. That's better. I just really want to see Kuchava's cub. I haven't seen Kuchava in a long time. Spent quite a bit of time tracking her in this area as well. Now, there's some very thick areas in here, the eastern side of Chitwa, which she likes to hang around in. Aha! European bee-eater muldoon? Unfortunately not. They do have quite a long migration, but not nearly as long as some of the other birds. That was a good guess. Probably got the longest migration of any bee-eater. I think the European bee-eater would win that little competition. A penguin? No, Oreo, definitely not a penguin. Definitely not a penguin. Oh, Dr. Rob, Canadian goose, but unfortunately, no, still not correct. Oh, I thought someone would have got it by now. I didn't think it was that hard a quiz. I've definitely asked it before. Now, Rebecca wants me to give you a clue. I refuse. But let's go across to Madam McCurdy in the meantime.
Ooh, Brent is strict today, isn't he? We've lost our lions, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to be able to go back to them just because of signal issues, unfortunately. They're somewhere between where we are now and another road, which we'll head down towards. You might go check out Buffalo Dam. Maybe they change direction and go more east. But it's almost impossible to navigate through on this drainage line, especially when the grass is so tall and there's so many leaves on the trees. In winter, it's a lot easier because you can actually see what's going on. And the Nkuhumas have actually spent a whole lot of time down and around in this area. We know it well. But I can't see any of the old pathways anymore. They're all completely overgrown. They've all been rehabilitated quite well, in fact. So they've also gone quiet, and there's no need for them to do much more calling. They've all regrouped and found one another. So I think we know what has happened to that lioness. I'm sure it was the youngest lioness of the Nkuhuma Pride too that had the cut on the inside of her right eye. Perhaps one of the Birmingham boys has been trying to mate with her and she's putting her foot down, and they got into a bit of an argument about it. So I think that's probably what's happened, and that's maybe why the Pride is sort of split up quite a bit. But they've all got back together now, which is quite nice. I didn't see a Birmingham male there. I didn't even hear one. It was just that one lioness that had the youngest girl, and she's got a very deep voice. It sounded very male-like at one point when she was coming right past the car. And we'll just keep checking. There's many things that could happen. They could turn around, they could come back again. Maybe they hear a distress call of something. Maybe they pick up the scent of another animal, and we don't really know where they've gone or what's happened. Who's this? Oh, someone was walking out, a hyena running. Don't think you'll see the tracks very well, I'm afraid. Yeah, so we might scratch around. I think we're going to go further to the... There's a little squirrel. Are you relaxed? Hi, little squirrel. Oh, it is quite relaxed. Let's see if it stays there for long enough. That's quite cool. Hello. It was just sitting on the road, obviously collecting... No, it's gone. It's just gone a little bit further down, and you can see it moving. It was collecting probably some nuts on the road, lots of marula seeds that I can see around here, but not wanting to say hello to us today. That's okay. Not all squirrels are as friendly as others. We've actually been lucky over the last few days. We've had some great squirrel sightings. Oh, okay. So let's have a little look around and see what we can find. I'm still waiting to see elephants. Have not even seen a footprint of an elephant in such a long time. I think we should do this road once more just for good luck, and then go Buffalo Dam and then sort of move further to the southeast and check around Drakensberg, Mamba, all those areas. So we'll just check Hyena Road one more time because my gut is telling me to go and check it again. But they were seriously on the move though today, those lions. But they could have slowed down now that they've all found one another. I think they were maybe just marching like that because they were separated. They were trying to catch up with one another. Muldoon, we don't really know when the wildebeest and the zebras are going to come back. Oh, there's lots of creatures here. You've seen the hornbills. At the moment, there was a little squirrel again. It's actually, no, it's gone. It doesn't like us. Okay, no one. Oh, there it goes. It's just on the edge of the road. You can see its tail. Come back out. Maybe it will come back out again. I think that all the wildebeest and zebra are probably a bit further north where there is a lot of green grass. The grazing in this area is not great. I mean, it compared to other areas. And remember, the animals are going to eat the best possible quality of grass first and leave the other sort of undesirable stuff as a last resort, typically in the winter months. I think we should see them come back hopefully soon. But I don't exactly know when. They don't have a migrating pattern like the wildebeest that migrate from Tanzania up to Kenya. Local, once there's rain, they'll go to that spot and they'll go down here, and then they come to us for a bit, and then they go somewhere else. That's sort of what the animals do here. So I'm just going to check carefully. Man, I I wish there were all those off-roading tracks that we used to have, because sure, you could just drive straight into them and they take you right to the edge of the drainage line, which is where they were walking. Maybe they are looking to flush out something like a kudu, some prey of sorts. Okay, folks, we'll keep searching here. We'll head towards Buffelshoek Dam. There are lots of gremlins. I'm going to send you to Tristan.
Well, good luck, Taylor. Hopefully you'll re-find them. We're just checking basically on the tracks that Taylor is to try and see where this male went. We can't find where he went off. We can find where Taylor found the females, but that's it. But now, if you have a look here, sitting on this piece of grass, I'm trying not to get too close because I don't want it to disturb it, is a very cool looking creature called a bee fly. And these guys are fairly common here. We see them fairly regularly, and you can see they've kind of got that fly-like shape, and then they've got this long proboscis that comes out. And you find them often on grass stalks, also onto these Waltherias, which is the plant below it. And they kind of often will sit there. But isn't that a cool looking animal? I think it's very, very cool. And they've got this, like I say, fly shape to them, but they've gotten the name bee fly because of the sort of rest of the body almost looks bee-like with the kind of hair and all of that that's on it. So it's a very interesting looking creature. It's not actually harmful to us in any way. They're pretty cool little animals to watch go about their business. And so we see them quite regularly, like I say, doing their thing. And this is the first real insect that I've seen sit still this morning. Everything else has been quite mobile, funny enough. Even though it's damp this morning, it is really very humid. This mist that's closed in has created this kind of moist, warm environment that is, well, it's still there, Craig. Right there. Stay over here, Craigie. And it's being very cooperative. So Craig was battling to see where it was. Maybe if you want to come where I am, Craig, it'll be easier for you. But there we go. So it's amazing also how they camouflage. If you don't see it landing or flying, to spot that on the edge of these grasses is seriously difficult. You can see the bird grass in the foreground, how similar it looks to that little insect. There we go. It's very, very similar, and so you've got to kind of just see it fly. Otherwise, you really struggle to be able to pick them up. Good. But like I say, we're still trying to see where these male tracks go. We can't find any further sign of the male, just the females that Taylor found, as I was saying just now. And so we're kind of just trying to walk on Taylor's vehicle track, because I'm trying to see if the males crossed after, or was the male right up in front and they kind of went over before Taylor found them. But there's definitely more than 4 lions tracks that we found. It's pretty much the whole pride, so pretty sure the rest of them are around, and maybe that's why they've all gone static, is in that block, because they found each other. But let's see how we go. While we do that, let's send you back to Brent for an answer on his quiz.
Okay, so unfortunately no sign of Kuchava, but I've just heard that the Torchwood and Nkuhuma Prides are about to meet. They're about 50 meters apart at the moment, north of the boundary. So obviously those lions heard that the Torchwood Pride's squabbling over a warthog, because that's what we heard this morning. And now the Nkuhumas have headed in that direction. So we're waiting to hear what happens. Oof, drama. But now, Judy, Scribble Rules, and Baobab, well done on getting the bird quiz correct. It was indeed the Arctic tern, 11,000 miles annually. Now this is going to be quite interesting with this lion dynamic at the moment, and so I'm just listening. So okay, so basically what's happening here is that it was about 3 years ago that the Torchwoods and the Nkuhumas shared a giraffe carcass, which means that either the Torchwoods are an offshoot of the Nkuhumas or the Nkuhumas are an offshoot of the Torchwoods. But the fact that there's been 3 years since they were last seen together could mean this is going to be a lot more of an aggressive encounter. Now, it might not be, because we might just not have known. The last time they met, they might have not met when people were around. But that's the last time I know of them meeting. So you're just trying to listen to what's happening now. from the guys in Buffalo's Hook. But so far, no tracks of any leopards at the moment. Oof, absolute drama amongst the lions, the leopards. It's a cat soap opera out here at the moment. Now we're going to keep checking for leopards there. And this area is all good for Kachava. This is Kachava. Seems to spend a lot of time around here. We're just making sure there are no tracks. Okay, there we go. Yours is calling me. Standing by, yours. Okay, they're fighting. Apparently it's a massive fight. Now I know Taylor's quite close to that area, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go quite into that area as well, because those lions after a fight are likely to bombshell in all sorts of different directions. We're not too far. So there's... Okay, apparently there's been a fight now, but now they're settling down. So as I said, you never know what's going to happen, because almost certain that those prides, one either spurns from the other or vice versa. So they are related, but when prides get very big and they split like that and they haven't been in contact for years or months, they can be very aggressive with each other. So just listening, the contact coming in, all the... Now, as you know, Tristan says it looks like there's Birmingham's with them as well, and Lisa is asking, will males in the fight take, or will males in the area take part in the fight? Sorry. Sometimes yes, they might just whack everyone. Male lions, when there's a fight going on, their blood tends to get up and they start getting involved. So, very, very interesting dynamics happening at the moment. But it sounds like Taylor's having gremlins in that area, so we're going to try get there as quickly as possible. The area we started working. Heard the lions on a kill just to the north of our boundary. It turned out Pride, and Herbie and calling coming in from the south, and then Taylor found Amber Eyes walking around, contact calling. Then the rest of the Pride joined together in the drainage line off Gowrie Cut line, and then they've headed straight towards where the Torchwood Pride are, where they've had a fight, and now we're not sure what's going on. So I'm going to get to that area as fast as possible, but let's go across to Tristan in the meantime.
Well, hopefully the two cars will sort it out at some point and they'll find signal or be in areas where there is signal. Now, we're still on the tracks for this male. I highly doubt that he's still here, but what Herbie and I were thinking is you never know, because no one's actually seen a male yet. Maybe there's a male that's split off with one of the females from the Nkuhuma Pride, and they've kind of put themselves somewhere in this area. So we're just double-checking and making 100% sure on the male tracks. You can see that these lions were not happy, so the Nkuhuma Pride... So I believe you guys saw the aerial of the bushwalk camera. So as Craig bends over, the aerial comes forward. It sits on top of his head. So it's kind of, that's why you saw a little pointy thing that entered into the frame. I do apologize about that, but we took Craig through a thicket. But as I was saying, The whole pride was running through this area, so if Taylor was following them, they ran in this section, and they kind of went through and went onto Giraffe Dip side. But so I'm not 100% sure kind of if the male's still with them. But anyway, let's just check, and while we do that, it sounds like Taylor's found something else to show you this morning.
Well, look at this. We were trying to race to to lions, and we've got Mr. T. Hello, T. Not looking too bad. Still a bit skinny. So as we turned onto Cheetah Cut Line at high speed, VM says there's a leopard in the road. Oh dear, it's all happening. Stations located Tingana, Cheetah Cut Line mobile south at the moment. Okay, look at that. You never know what's going to happen when you're out on a live safari. You can see he's still looking a little bit skinny. But not... Oops, sorry, VM, that was my fault. Wrong gear. But he's definitely on the move, on the prowl. He's still scent marking. He's still holding, but obviously a much smaller territory than he once did. Unfortunately, we're right on the corner. If he goes into Chitwa, it'll be okay, but if he goes to the west slightly, he's going to move out of our area. So we'll stick with him for now. Now, this is quite funny because I got told he went in the complete opposite direction. Yeah, he does look quite skinny, Judy. Judy says, shame, he does look quite skinny. He is skinny, but he's not dire at the moment. And he has looked worse. So just in case he goes into Little Gari, I'm just going to call the guys in the east. Stations Tingana crossing Gari Main at JC Brink. One station here. He's not moving because of the lion fight, John. He's quite far away from there, in leopard terms, not in car terms. Okay, so he's heading straight towards the little pan. Maybe he'll stop for a drink. Okay, now we've got lots of fights going on all over the place. And leopard girl, generally leopards will start fighting for their territory. Let's just get into a good spot for you there, VM. At about sort of 5 years old, 6 years old, they'll start trying to claim territory from an older male. And then throughout their life, till they're too old to hold territory, so they're 12, even sometimes as young as 10, then they will be fighting to some point throughout their whole life. There we go, isn't that lovely? You can actually hear him lapping it up from here. Beautiful. He is still a magnificent leopard, even though he is sort of getting on in the years. He's facing quite a lot of pressure at the moment from Hukamuri in the west and Quarantine to the east. And of course his long-time rival Djuma to the north. And then I'm not sure which male leopard's to the south. I think it's also Quarantine. So Mr. T does have an impressive dewlap purple. They protect him when he's fighting. Very, very thirsty. Now, we were told he actually crossed west into Little Gowrie, and we've had him coming from the east. And he's actually come out of Torchwood. Interesting. Well, Vim, you wanted a leopard this morning? Oh, very, very thirsty. I wonder where he's been wandering overnight. Okay, I'm going to stick with him as long as we can. They say he might just pop over the boundary in this area. We're right on the edge of Chitwa. Okay, let's catch up with him. Now, his dewlap's not going to get smaller as he gets older, Carol, but it might become a bit more floppy as he loses condition, but it's definitely not going to get smaller. Okay, he might head down towards the dam. I'm hoping he does. What are you smelling? Nothing that interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shoot around in front of him so he can walk past us. Hi, Emma. Emma, Tingana is most likely to be killed by another male rather than to die of old age. It's very, very seldom that leopards or lions ever die of old age. They're normally killed by a competitor. There we go. He's hoping he's going to walk right next to us. There we go. Here he comes. The old man of the north. Such pressure he's facing from the other male leopards at the moment. There we go. He's going to walk right past us. Hey, big boy. You can see. Now, when he first arrived in the northern Sabi sands, he was quite shy. And now, you can see he takes absolutely no interest of the vehicles around us. Okay, well, we're going to keep following Mr. T. In the meantime, let's send you back to Tristan, who's on foot.
We had a view of some nyala that seemed to have run, so I just want to try and see if we can get round this bush and see if we can find them again. It seems as though there's no sign of this male anywhere in amongst what's chaos is exploding on Buffalo's Hook at the moment. So I don't know if either he lay down, but Herbie and I are now sitting doubting ourselves as to whether this might be the sub-adult male, but that sub-adult male is nowhere near big enough for those tracks. Those are fully grown, big male lion tracks. So I still think there's a... There we go, there they are. So there's the nyalas. I still think there's a male lion somewhere around. Maybe he's just lagging behind and has just kind of decided it's too hot and humid to walk around too much and that the girls must sort themselves out and fight over whatever it is up there, and then he'll just kind of rest. Either that or he's gone straight to the carcass and chased those torchwoods off their carcass, and he's just kind of feeding and the rest are all still fighting, and that's why no one's actually seen the male yet. But we'll kind of keep on the tracks. We lost the tracks in the Mulwati coming towards where we are now, and those nyalas seem as though they haven't seen anything. They haven't shouted or anything like that, so I'm pretty sure that these guys haven't bumped into any lions just yet. They are very kind of quiet and they're just trying to hide away. And so what they did is they were in the open and they just ran, and typical of nyala is that they'll get themselves into a thicket just to try and hide away. So even though they haven't run far, it's just more to get themselves behind something so as they're able to kind of protect themselves and to camouflage really well. It's their kind of defensive mechanism. Get in somewhere thick and then just sit dead still and hope that no one sees you. So clever way to do things, I suppose, and works really well for them. Now we're coming down towards Giraffe Dip, which is where Taylor said the rest of the pride met. So I'd be surprised that if the male didn't come out here, given that the rest of the pride came out this side. The thing that interests me is like I say, I mean, I need to actually have a look at this young male's paw size next time we're with him, because I suppose he's going to get to that point where he's going to start looking and resembling in terms of track size as a adult male. But for now, it just didn't seem like his footprint. It just seems as though that one was too big. The only interesting thing about it is that the entire time we've walked, we haven't seen any sort of scent marking from this male, which is unusual. Generally, if a male's within a pride, when they're moving like this, he'll find a place where he'll scent mark, particularly if there's a female that's in estrus that he's trying to mate with. Then you'll find them really kind of scent marking in a lot of places, just to sort of advertise that they are the sort of boss of what's going on. Now, I was hoping we'd find some sort of tracks kind of crossing in this direction. I believe they went up this way towards sort of Hyena Road, so I'm just having a look and seeing what's going on. Now, I believe Brent has got himself into a good position with Mr. T, and so while we faff about here looking for tracks, let's send you back to Brent.
Well, he's just snuck past the front of our vehicle. He's walking down the boundary road at the moment, so we will stay with him as long as we can. And if he turns right, it's not good for us. And yeah, squirrels have spotted him, guinea fowls are alarming. I wonder if all this noise, if Hassan is around, is he going to come irritate his possible dad? And it's impossible to say whether Tingana... Whoa, sorry Vim, I didn't see that branch there. It's impossible to say whether Hassan is actually Tingana's son without the genetics. But it is most likely because he is the dominant male was the most dominant male through most of Kruger's territory. However, she did mate with the Anderson male. She did mate with Djuma. So there's a possibility that Hosanna might belong to another male. But that's why the female leopards do it, because they are convinced. All the males are now convinced that they are the baby daddy. Okay, stop for a little scent mark. What you heard? What you seen? Corin, he's still very capable of hunting big animals, kudu or wildebeest, but he's in no means about to keel over from weakness. So he would still very easily be able to take down a female kudu, even a young male kudu. He might choose not to, though, because although there's high reward, there's high risk with those big animals. They might injure him in the hunt. But you must remember, all these cats are opportunists and will take any advantage they can. he smelt something interesting there. Not that interesting. He's going to keep moving down the road. Let's shoot around the corner. See if there's a way around. Oh, no. Yes, there is. So we were with Hasana here a couple of days ago, actually right in this very spot, when he was hunting that squirrel. Actually, I think we're just letting Difference go in front of us. Difference, who's driving that car, is an old friend of mine. We used to work together many years ago at Singita. Now, David, Tingana, this is a relatively normal speed for a male leopard to walk while on patrol. I don't think it's any slower because of his age. It is a normal sort of speed for him to walk. Okay, so we're going to let some of the other cars go in front of us so they can have a good view as he disappears around the corner, and we will reposition shortly to catch up with him. Okay, so we're just going to let some of the other cars go ahead. He is heading still along the boundary. I'm hoping he cuts back towards the dam rather than heading down towards the west. So while we see what he gets up to next, let's send you back to Taylor to see what's happening up on the northern boundary.
Well, there was a big altercation between the Nkuhumas and the Torchwood Pride. It seems like the Torchwood Pride actually caught a small warthog, and that's what they were feasting on. So that's what Brent was hearing, and I'm pretty sure that the Nkuhumas probably heard that too. And then were quite curious about what's going on, so they went to investigate. But they've pushed the Torchwood Pride far east. Go Nkuhumas. Hey, they're so cool, those lions. Anyway, so that's what's happened. So I think that, like I said earlier, the injury that came must have come from one of the Birmingham boys was trying to mate perhaps with the youngest lioness. So it makes sense that she's about to come back into estrus again. Maybe she's just coming into it now. And he's getting quite excited, so something to look out for. And now what we're doing is we're going down via tele-access at the moment. I think we'll go drive in the west and have a little look around here and just see if we can't find anything, and we'll slowly start making our way towards sort of Treehouse Dam. That's where Tristan said he last had the tracks of the male lion, but we haven't seen any sign of a line just yet, so he's probably still around. Maybe he gave up and sat down and went to sleep. So we'll just sort of check around here in the west. We'll be looking for anything. Maybe we see Shidulu, maybe she crosses back, who knows. Lots of hyena tracks everywhere. Oh, right. So most of you know elephants are my favorite animal in the whole wide world, but I do love frogs, and Tristan has found one.
Yes, you do, Taylor. You are a frog nutter, and wherever frogs are, Taylor is a happy girl. Now, we found another one of these bushveld rain frogs. So we had one a few days ago, but I just found another one that's kind of was crossing the road in front of us, and you can see it is absolutely tiny. Those are little particles of soil on the road that you are seeing all around it. So it is minute, this little thing. It is very, very small. And I love these guys. These guys have got a whole bunch of attitude. They've got these small round bodies with these tiny little legs as they walk about, and they have really the angriest look ever. They kind of always look like they're upset with life. They have these kind of big eyes and this little mouth that turns downwards. You can see there's a couple of ants even crawling on it. Isn't that cool? Very, very cool to see. Now, it's not every day that you can get a really cool view of one of these guys. They typically are quite shy little frogs. They move around quite quickly. They don't like to be out in the open. You can imagine sitting in a place like this is not ideal at all. And so they normally try and cross open ground quite fast, and it's very seldom that you actually get one sitting still as long as this one is. How cool is this though? And you can see the camouflage on it. It's got all these kind of mottled coloration, and as Craig comes out, it gives you an idea of just how kind of difficult it is to actually see these guys on the road. So it looks just like a little stone or a pebble, and if I put my finger here, hopefully it doesn't move, but if I put my finger, you'll see that's how big this little guy is. He's very, very small. He's almost the same size as my nail, which is absolutely amazing. So very cool spot. And now what it's doing is it's basically using a defensive camouflage. So it's trying to sit as dead still as possible in the hope that we'll go away and it won't be able to be seen, and it can then cross the road and get back into the thickets as quick as possible. Gillian, yes, this is a non-jumping frog. This is a walking frog. So you'll find when it does decide to walk, it's going to kind of just waddle along over the road. Its body is not designed for jumping. It's like a shot put athlete versus a high jumper. A high jumper are the normal frogs that jump around, and then this is the shot put athlete that is a little bit larger and more squarely built. That doesn't allow for much jumping action to take place. And also, if you look at the back leg over here, you see that this back leg is very underdeveloped in comparison to a number of other frogs that we get. So it's just a straight kind of little leg that extends. It's got no power in it like you would see from other frogs as well. Now, sorry, Rebecca, I was so busy looking at its little leg that I forgot to listen to the question. My bad. I was so excited about this little guy that I wasn't paying too much attention.